there. Please don't sit there. There. I can't get my shot. Oh, yeah. Hello. Hello. Come here. Come on. Come on. I have to film it. I can't pet you all day. I can't pet you all day.
Proud sponsors of the Cars Ireland YouTube channel. CarsIreland.ie for car history data you can trust. Buying a used car? Get an exclusive coupon code now. See the comment section for more details.
Hello and welcome back to the Cars Ireland YouTube channel. Now this is the Toyota Highlander and you probably don't recognise it, but it has actually been around for over 20 years now. It's been available in Japan, the US and Australia. And in 2021 Toyota have decided to bring it to Europe. God, that's a long walk. Big car. So what is it? Well, as you can clearly see, it's a very large SUV. Very, very large in fact. It's just under 5 meters long and has room for a family of 7. This one is in silver with 20-inch alloys. So please do let us know what you think of it in the comments. Do you like it? Really? Are you going to be in every shot? Fine. And it'll come as no surprise if you have any sort of passing interest in Toyota to learn that it is powered by a hybrid, a 2.5 litre petrol with just under 250 brake horsepower. So the Highlander is obviously aimed at big families and boot space is very important. With all 3 rows in place, you get 240 litres of boot space. So pretty typical of 7-seaters. With the 3rd row of seats down, you get 813 litres of space. And if you drop the 2nd row, you get just under 2,000 litres of space. Now the only annoyance I could find was just to drop that 2nd row is a bit awkward. There's quite a lot to it. You have to go around to the passenger door, pull a lever at the top here and it half goes down, then pull a 2nd lever down here to drop it fully, and then you do the same on the other side, obviously. In I hop. Do you know you could sleep in here? I could sleep in here. Oh. So you join me in the Highlander's middle row of seats. Now the backmost row is definitely only for kids. It is a tight squeeze back there and I'm pretty sure my knees are around my ears. But you know what, you'd stick short adults in there without much of a fuss. I think they'd be fine over a short journey. For the 2nd row though, it's all very nice. Look at all the knee room, plenty of headroom too. Although I was expecting a bit more. I think that might be because of the panoramic sunroof. I have a sun blind built into the door, which is always very handy. You can control your climate control down here and a few buttons. We've heated seats in the back as well, which is always nice. And there's 2 USB ports down lower. There is adjustment in these, so you can, no, don't pull that one. You can move forward and back independently of this one. Isofix, armrest, cup holders, leather, perforated. You'd be grand back here really, wouldn't you? Now you join me at Highlander Central Control, or as it's more affectionately known, the front seat. So an entry-level Highlander will set you back €65,000. The mid-level Sol model is 71,000, and today we are in the top of the line Platinum version, and that's about €76,000. It's safe to say we're well kitted out today on the Platinum version, and I'll point out just some of the stuff. You have a head-up display, you've heated steering wheel, you've these perforated leather seats that are heated and cooled. I forgot how good cooled seats are when I use these. God, it's lovely, just that breeze up your back. You have an 11-speaker JBL system. You also have a panoramic sunroof. You have loads of safety stuff, you know, to keep you in your lane, to stop you crashing pre-collision, adaptive cruise control, and some funky lights as well. There is wireless phone charging in the armrest with this really satisfying action on this slidey bit here. So you just slide that back and it sort of slides into the recess at the back here. Something very satisfying about that. You have your wireless charging here, and underneath that you've loads of space in a big old bin, see? But there's something very satisfying about that. Just sliding in. The infotainment system is a 12.3 inch screen, and to put it nicely, the graphics are old school. They are very old school. They're not the greatest thing in the world, but they're fine. And it does its job. It works well. It is old technology, but it does work well for probably that reason. There are loads of cameras, but the definition on them is just not good enough. There's mid-level hatchbacks with better definition than this, and this is a 76 grand car. They're fine, like they'll keep you safe and you can see, and there's like 360 cameras and it'll do a rotation thing to show you where you are when you're parking, and you can play around with the colours on it, but the display is just not of high enough quality for me. But you can just connect up Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, and that's much better. The overall feel of the interior is very impressive, very robust. There's just quality materials everywhere. Even though maybe it lacks just a bit of style, a bit of flair and panache, it's very straightforward, very down the line. Like, the quality is unreal in parts. You're talking like zombie apocalypse, end of the world, I'd trust this car to save me kind of thing. This, like, that just feels so solid, that's going nowhere. We also have some wood detailing on the center here, and it's on the doors. It's sort of silvery brown wood. Practicality is pretty good too. You have like big old door bins, you have your cup holders here in the middle. So there's a slot here that's nicely padded, and you'd pop your phone in there. And then there's actually a little hole in the area where you can track your USB lead from the USB port up through the hole and into your phone, so you don't have the lead everywhere. You can sort of store it in there. So initial impressions of driving the Highlander. Well, for me, the steering is just a bit too light at low speeds. I just wanted a bit more meatier and a bit more reflective of the size of the car. It's a big car, and I just want the sense of the steering reflects the car, if that makes sense. Just a tiny bit more weight in it and I'd be a bit more satisfied. But it does weight up nicely at higher speeds. Speaking of speed, see what I did there? Seamless. The Highlander will do 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 8.3 seconds. And actually it can do up to 125 kilometers an hour on EV mode alone. There's a little button on the center dash here that selects EV mode. Now, you can't do that for very long because it is a small battery, but it is a nice option. So we have the hybrid powertrain, and another typical Toyota trait is the CVT automatic gearbox. It's very typical of a CVT gearbox in that if you don't ask a whole lot from it and sort of keep it calm and keep it quiet, you don't go poking at it, it's a perfectly acceptable gearbox. Toyota quote a fuel economy figure of 7 litres per 100 kilometers. I'm seeing 9 pretty much consistently. Now, all Highlanders on offer here in Ireland are 4-wheel drive, and there's a little trail button here to obviously help you out on trails, I'm guessing. There are driving modes, normal, sport and eco, and I've not had the inkling to change it at all. I've just left it normal. I don't think this is a car for sport driving, and I'm not sure how much eco is really going to do. Around town, it's actually not too bad. I was surprised. I think it's thanks to the sort of high seating position and the views you have around. The only place where it did come unstuck was really tight, small parking spaces. You're just very aware of its bulk at that stage. But I am 100,000,000% convinced parking spaces are getting way smaller, and it's just ridiculous because cars are getting bigger and it's just tricky for everyone. It's not my bad parking. Down and back road, it's actually not too bad. It deals with body roll very well, but the one thing I have noticed is it succumbs to undulations in the road a bit more than you'd want. So you hit sort of an undulation, whoop, and the front suspension reacts. And then I'm guessing it's just the delay between the front and rear suspension, and then the rear one sort of reacts, so you get a kind of a bit of a jiggly motion that you might not want. It's nothing frantic, and it's not going to upset you a whole lot unless you really pay attention, but it is there, and it's something I'm aware of anyway. But it's very comfortable, it's very quiet, it's very refined. It's the kind of thing I'd like to load up with like 4 people, all your gear, and just disappear on a road trip for a week around Ireland. Oh, this would be ideal for that. Ideal! So to conclude the Highlander, I don't think this is going to be a massive seller. Its main problem is just the competition out there. So you have like the cookie cutter 7-seater SUVs from the Volkswagen group, the Seat Tarraco, the Kodiaq from Skoda, the Tiguan Allspace, and you can get a good one of them for in around 40 to 50,000 euro. Although one thing did surprise me, I was on the Kodiaq configurator last night just out of interest, and if you were to spec it to this level, I think you're spending in like the mid 60s. And then you have the stuff from Korea at about 50, 55,000 euro, like the Sorento and the Santa Fe. Then you have the more premium stuff where you're spending kind of 80,000 plus on like a Volvo XC90, an Audi Q7 or a Land Rover Discovery. And those badges carry a bit more weight, and I suppose people just gravitate towards those cars at that price point. But you know what? There's just something very endearing about this Highlander. Now I know you're going to say, come on Anthony, there's nothing endearing about a 7-seater SUV that costs 75,000 euro. Well, there is. There's something likeable about this, and I'm not even fully sure what it is. There's just something that's captured me, and I can't even put my finger on it. I don't know. I like it, and I don't even know why. There you go. There's my conclusion.